Hello and welcome to Completing the Square for Circles. First we're going to look at some foiling problems whose answers are perfect square trinomials. So something like this where we have x plus 3 squared. We know that means x plus 3 times x plus 3. So when we FOIL that, x times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 3x. And 9, and then these are like terms, so we can put those together. And we have x squared plus 3x plus 9. If you look at the connection between the answer and the original problem, you can see that the n number squared is here, the n number times 2 is here. So to get from here to here, we would just have to divide the 6x by 2. So let's try this one. X plus 6, x plus 6, we get x squared plus 6x plus 6x plus 36. So x squared plus 12x plus 36. And again you notice that the 12 is double the 6, so to get from here to here, if we were going backwards, we could just split this in half and take the square root of it. And this number is both half of this term and the square root of this term. So if we set it up like this, general equation, this number is both half of b and also the square root of c. Okay, here, x minus 4, minus 4, we have x squared minus 4x minus 4x plus 16. So again, this number is half of 8 and the square root of 16. Now you notice these are positive, positive, this one's negative, and you notice the change is that the middle sign is the same as whatever this sign is. So this is negative, this is negative. The signs match up. Now we're going to go the other way. Let's say we started with this perfect square trinomial in the form ax squared plus bx, plus c. From what we just did, you should be able to figure out that the x goes here, and then half of this middle term, half of this b term, or we could say b over 2, goes here. And since this is positive, it's going to be 5. This one, x minus, because it's negative here, half of this, and square root of that is 7. This process is called factoring the perfect square trinomial. Because again, we're thinking, what multiplies to be 49 and adds up to be negative 14? Oh, negative 7 and negative 7. So we know this is our factored form, which we can write as x minus 7 squared. Now, here's where that comes into play for us. Something like this with circles. I gave you some steps I'd like you to get down. And we'll just kind of follow these steps together. The first thing I'm going to do with a circle is I'm going to get the x's together, get the y's together, and move the planes to the other side. So you see I only have one x. I've got 2 different y values, and I've got a plane. So this plane has to go. I'm going to subtract 5 so that I have the x's here, I've got the y's here, and I've got the planes over here. Now is where I'm going to put a box in. I'm looking at the x's. The x's doesn't need anything because it's fine. But this one needs a box. So what goes in the box is half of this b over 2 squared. Half of this number squared. Half of that is negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9. So now that creates a perfect square trinomial for me, just like we had here. These are perfect square trinomials. Step 3, balance the equation. Oh, if I add 9 to that side, I have to add 9 to this side. Okay. Now I'll factor the perfect square trinomial. We know that this factors to be y and something squared. Remember that something is half the middle term. This factors. This one doesn't need to be factored. And these, I'm just going to combine. Negative 5 plus 9 is 4. So I have found from this now I can find my center. My center is 0 for the x, 3 for the y, My radius is 2. I could draw a graph if I wanted to. Next problem. Put my x's together. You see I've got x's here, so let's put the x's together. I'll leave a little bit of room for an x box. X box. Put my y's together. Leave a little bit of room for my y box. And I'm going to add the 17 to the other side. Now I figure out what goes in the boxes. Half of this is 2, squared is 4. So let's balance that with a 4. Half of this squared is 4. So I need another 4 for that one. Now we've got a perfect square trinomial. X plus 2 squared and y minus 2 squared. And this is 25. So now I know my center is negative 2 opposite sign, and my radius is square root of this, which is 5. Okay, last one. See if you can do it. Try it, pause the video, and then play when you're ready for the answer. X squared. Put my x's together. We need a box. Put my y's in here. Let's get the plain numbers. Let's add 200 over here. Now this box, half of this squared is 8 squared is 64. Half of this squared is 7 squared is 49. So I will add 64. I will add 49. That is x plus 8 squared, because that's half the middle term, and also the square root of this, plus y minus 7, because that's half of this, and the square root of that. And then this, 200 plus 64 plus 49, that looks like 313 maybe? So we would say the center is negative 8, 7, and the radius is just the square root of 313, whatever that is. That's how you complete the square for circles.